Do you know how much money do you have to pay when purchasing a home? I refer to those as closing costs. So as a buyer purchasing a home, you have down payment and closing expenses. So let's talk about closing expenses. You probably heard the myth that closing expenses are about 3% of the purchase price. Well, what happens when you're buying a $6 million home? It doesn't mean it's 3%. What if you're buying a $100,000 home? It's probably more than 3%. So how do you know what to pay? The best way is to talk with myself so we can talk about you purchasing a home in a certain geography, at a certain price point, in a certain marketplace, because every county has different closing expenses, taxes, recordation fees, transfer. They may need multiple appraisals in some situations. So the best way to understand your closing costs and your cash to close, most importantly, is to just make sure that you work with a professional that can document it out. So let's talk about those hidden costs. I've been in this business since 2005, and what I see some salespeople do is that they want to undercut or make their fees, the closing expenses, lower. But when we're purchasing a home, it's not just their fees that they're making look lower, like the title company, the attorney, the recordation fees, the lender fees, the HOA fees. They're doing a disservice by making you see lower fees because you have the improper expectation. Where in my case, what I like to do is make sure that we have high fees to make sure we budget properly, we have the right expectations in the negotiation. And then if those actual fees are lower, then we're going to update it to match that. So once we go under contract, we would talk through a couple things. If you have a condo or an HOA, typically there's a capital contribution, a one-time fee you pay at front at closing, and you may also need to collect 1 or 2 months of the HOA fees, which depends on the property. So the lender doesn't know, no one knows, but let's make sure that those things are on there. Secondly, owner's title insurance, optional to a buyer, not required. Lender's title insurance is required for the lender for the loan amount. Owner's title insurance is not. So you could have 3 stages of owner's title insurance. It can be optional, meaning 0. You can have a basic coverage or an enhanced. Look, if you're looking to understand the home buying process, make sure that you have the right expectations and you're not getting blindsided at closing with the right fees, call myself. Let's talk about it.